The Pro Sa-
Hey guys and gals, hey guys and gals, what is good? What is good today? Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for hitting that play button. Let's go! Day! Oh, mum. I love it. 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 I do. You beautiful, intelligent individual. Yes, you are. Because that's the only type of people that would actually click the play button on something that's, learning related. All the non-learners are like, oh, learning? No, I can't do that. I'd rather be gaslighted. Okay, enough of that. Sometimes I could be real, and if you really wanted to hear my real, you probably don't. Anyways, it's awesome that you're here, you beautiful, intelligent people. You guys, come on. You guys that are watching and click the play button, right off the hop, right off the get-go, immediately in my brain molecules tells me you are a beautiful, intelligent person. You are smart. You have high IQ. All those things. It doesn't matter which side you're on. Okay? It's all the same. Okay? You're just at another level, At another level. Yes. Love coding. So much fun. That's all I do. I sleep and dream, and even while I'm eating, I'm thinking of coding. It's crazy. I wish I was doing this a millennial ago. Yes. Whoever invented coding, genius! Absolute genius! I think back in the day, people were actually able to learn and invent stuff because there wasn't as many distractions, right? The world was a lot simpler then, you know? Too many distractions clutter the minds. Okay, but yeah, keep filling your mind with learning and knowledge. It's important. All that other stuff is just, yeah, it's not good for you. It's not healthy whatsoever. All right, I need to focus. I'm thinking, did I get all my stuffs done? I like to kind of paste a bunch of stuff in chat. I don't know, something for you guys to read and laugh at. I don't know. Inspirational stuff, motivational stuff, you know? Stuff that keeps you guys going and interested. It's also reading for readings. Okay, not on YouTube because obviously I gave you guys a chance, okay? I've already been streaming on YouTube, okay? All right? You guys, like, I don't want to go down this road, okay? Twitch is getting my full-on attention because, yeah, they're just different over here, you know? They want to learn, okay? And they're killing you guys in the views. Killing you guys in the views. They're killing it, and I love it. So I shall continue. I must trench on forwards. But you guys on YouTube, you get the content. I'm still uploading it there for you to watch. Again, don't be all sore. Okay? I gave you guys a chance first. Okay? All right, let's thank chat for being here. We're gonna finish up. It is Monday. It's Monday. Yeah, I know. Mondays, you know, everybody feels the same about Mondays. Okay, it is what it is. It's the day after the weekend. I spent my whole Sunday sharing all my lottery code on YouTube. Like, I wasted, I'm not gonna say wasted because there are some views, but it's like I spent 6-7 hours doing all these videos, stream after stream after stream. I'm like getting to the point, it's like, what do I have to do? Should I start doing toxic stuff? Is that how you get views? Fake titled clickbaity stuff? Is that what you gotta do? I don't know. I'm not gonna go that way. No way! Life is too short to spend time with people who suck the happiness out of you. That's right. The world is full of good people. If you can't find one, be one. Okay? Leader, not a follower. I love pasting that one. That one's funny. You have to be on Twitch to see that. Oh, yeah. To be old and wise, you must first be young and stupid. That's truth, okay? You younger guys, I love ya, but, you know, when you get older, trust, you're gonna look down on yourself and go, man, was I ever stupid? And I think that happens with majority of everybody. I'm not saying you're stupid. It's just a saying. Sheesh! You ever heard of a cliche? Okay. All right, no, none of that. We're not pasting that. No. Okay, something funny. Something funny. We need something funny. Let's have some funnies. Okay, and then we're going to get the stream going, right? You know, I want to get to coding and stuff too. I do. And teaching. Well, let's make it interesting. Let's see. Remember, the road to success is always under construction. That's a good one, actually. Okay? And then, whatever you're doing, always give 100%. Unless, of course, you're donating blood. That's so good. I gotta fix that, actually. So much better. With the... And you gotta put in the actual pause there. There. Beautiful. Okay, so let's see if I can find something. Let's see if I can find something. I need something that'll work. Will this work? I'm just testing some randomness. Man, that's like a cheesy sitcom laugh. It's a little bit better. Little bit better. La la. What's this one? Short yet sweet. Might keep this one. This one's good. Save. We'll save. Whoops. Okay, we're good. All right, guys and gals. Oh, it's playing again? Or is it still going on? What a nice crowd. You guys are a wonderful crowd. I love you guys. You guys are great. Oh, amazing. What is this thing, on loop or something? Or is it that long? How long is this thing? I'm going to give it a like, but it keeps looping. Oh, it's on loop. Did I loop it? I looped it. Oh, I'm such a looper. It's funny, you get it? A looper? Yeah, I know. Cheesy. Cheesy and corny. Okay, I'm not going to put a comment now. Cancel. Refresh. Okay. Guys, okay? If you want to get straight to the learning, it's great that you clicked. Okay, we're on Twitch here, so you know, this is kind of how the intro stuff goes. Hang out with the, chat a little bit, put in some laughs. So yeah, no, it's great having you. Of course, naturally. We are going to get going here. If you want to get straight to the kind of the learning, I'll try to put like a timestamp or something in comments so that you can just click right to it, just to make your life easier. If that's what you want to do, get straight to the learning. That's fine. That's cool. That's cool. I appreciate that. I can respect. Totally can. Because, that's what I want you guys to do, is learn too, right? I don't know. If I was a teacher, I'd be a little bit of a fun teacher. Got to joke around a little bit. And then, you probably only get half a class of learning, maybe. Maybe I would be a bad teacher. Bad teacher. I don't know. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's get to learning. I think I got everything done. I always get distracted with mod stuff and then just doing whatever. I do have to shout you guys out though. I must shouty you outies, you guys. Almost forgot that. I know everything takes time, guys. Takes time. And minutes is time. Did you know that seconds is minutes? It's crazy. Oh, you're still looping? Nice. Okay, you guys, stop putting the auto loop on. How does that even happen? Alright, I reloaded it. Okay, shouty outies time, guys. Shout out. Shouty outies. I'll shout you out on YouTube as well. You guys and gals, I appreciate the support. I truly do. You guys are like, man, you guys are awesome in my books. You totally are. Okay? Thank you for all being winners, learners, and not quitters. You guys are so great. I almost want to cry. All right, here we go. Shout outs, latest supporters over the last month or two. You guys are great, solid people. Let's go. Nicole Trace, 66. Bart number 1. Jim Jam, 1238. Kazert, 20. Let's go. Gavin, 555. And Kamikaze, ML. Whew, just a little bit on the throat. Kamikaze, I hope you're still around. Please don't kamikaze yourself, man. I love you. As a person, as an individual. Okay? It's not that kind of way, but I care. Alright? It's great to have you around. It truly is. And let's go. Throw it out there for iDucky. iDucky. Oh, yeah. One more time. Let's go. iDucky. And Wicked Stat. Wicked Stat! Stat! And Con Papa's 9. Who says I could call him Con? Okay. Con! Isn't that from a Star Trek movie or something? Con! I think it is. It's great to have you, Con Papas 9. On Yui Tubies. WX87. Flawless Hack. What's up? Salt of the Industry. Let me get this right. Salt of the Earth Ministry. Bless. And A-Y-A. Which I should say A-Y, yay, not aw, but yay. You know, you get it? Because instead of saying aw, I'm saying yay. I know, I could be cheesy sauce, but who doesn't love cheese? Unless, of course, you're cheese intolerant, whatever the word is. Sorry about your luck, man. You're missing out. Cheese is good. So good. All right, this is for you guys, a gal supporter of the channel. We're gonna get going here. right, all right, all right. That's for you, brothers, sisters, supporting the channel. Johnny Whiskey Tango Coding Sharp. Appreciates you, every single one of you. Okay, it's Mondays, guys. Thank you for your patience and understanding. I know that was a little bit long. It's Monday, you know. Let's get in a good mood. Everybody's like, I don't know. It's, you know, Mondays, right? Let's get excited. It's Monday. Okay. I did have a good weekend, except, you know, I spent all those hours, 6-7 hours streaming for 1-2 views, so I'm not going to be wasting my Sundays doing that again. I thought maybe people might be interested in lottery programs. I've done a bunch of different lottery applications for Windows using WinForms. I think they're pretty decent, you know. They're just random number generators for different types of lotteries in North America. Thought, you know, maybe people might be interested, but nah, there's no interest. You guys don't want to win money? What's up with you, man? That's crazy talk. That's crazy thinkings. Who doesn't want to win monies? Unbelievable. All right. So yeah, I'm just going to spend time kind of advancing my skill set, you know, doing advanced coding. Instead, I'm working on another program right now. I will share it on YouTube. If you guys on Twitch are interested, check it out. Whiskey Tango Coding. Much love for the support. So yeah, I'm gonna eventually do that. I'll share that with you guys. I'm not gonna tell you what it is right now, but I think it's pretty neat. Again, you have to be an intellect. It's kind of an intellectual type stuff. Okay? It's not for everybody, obviously. Except it is for you guys. That's right, it is. Okay, we are going to get to learning. So I hope you enjoyed that intro, the start. Flick the old switch in the brain molecules. Let's do some learning. Get to the course. And yeah, it's great to have you. Expressions. We're kind of in the section of statements, creating expressions and statements. We've talked about statements. Anything that ends with a semicolon, I guess technically speaking, is a statement, right? Okay, in regards to coding. Now, let's see. Anything that evaluates to a value is an expression in C++. Okay, all right. Okay, so an expression is said to return a value. Okay, right on. Cool. Thus, the statement 3 plus 2, which we kind of did, right? Oh, this is neat how you could do that. Leapfrogging, yeah. This is what we were doing last video. So kind of just refreshing my memory here. I won't go over this too long. We're going to try to get into some new stuff. But you could do this as well, apparently. Remember, guys, now we haven't talked about memory too much. But anything that you kind of type here before you even run your program, everything's stored in memory with what's called on the stack. And it's basically static memory. If you don't know, just think static. Static means non-moving, stationary, okay? And then you'll hear the term dynamic. That means like in motion, running, okay? So you have compile time when you run your program, and then you have runtime. And the runtime is where you're kind of using dynamic memory. But we'll get into that, okay? Just as a heads up. So this stuff here is stored on the stack, okay? Just think stack information that's stored in your RAM, temporary memory, before you even run it. It's just there, right? It's something the compiler or CPU needs to grab, right, to access before it kind of gets going. Okay, think of the RAM or temporary memory kind of like, you can look at it as well like, pretend the processor is like the librarian. We could kind of think of it like that. The processor is a librarian, and I don't know, is it the processor that's storing it into memory? RAM, I imagine, right? I can't crawl inside the computer to be able to see this, right? Nobody can. So I imagine, it's a bit of an organizer. It goes in, grabs information that it needs, uses it, puts it back, maybe updates it, changes, sort of thing, right? So you can kind of look at the RAM, the temporary memory, is like a library. Except in this sense, when you close the library, it's gone. It's like all the books are gone, But that's not a realistic thing, obviously. Okay, let's continue on. So I did a bunch of local variables, temp variables. These are initialized to the 0. Again, we're doing everything in line because you could do that to save some space. And, right, otherwise, it's up to you. You're the coder. You could keep typing int if you want. Right, it needs the semicolon. That's why. So if you notice here, I brought that down. And then I added this int declaration. Right now it's ghosted. Okay, so what it's basically telling me, it's Visual Studio is great. Other IDEs might do this as well. But what it's saying is, hey, you're kind of, it's not perfect what you've done. There's something wrong with one of your statements, right? So all I need to do is look above and go, oh, whoops, silly me. I forgot my semicolon, right? Because every statement ends with a semicolon. And I could continue doing that, guys. I could go like this. I could go like that. I could go like this. It's just another way of doing it. But naturally, of course, we're typing int multiple times, right? So if you are kind of a lazy typer, maybe I am myself, I don't know. I don't want to call myself a lazy typer, but for me, it looks cleaner, and I understand what it's doing. Every one of these variables is being declared as an int, okay? Data type. And so here I'm just saying that temp is equal to a plus b. So a plus b, right? Remember, left-hand side equals right-hand side. So whatever happens on the right-hand side, it's just information. That information needs to be put into somewhere. And that information from the calculation is stored in the variable temp. Okay, the temp is where it's the connection to your RAM and temporary memory. This variable has a memory address, and it's a container holding the value from this calculation, right? The right side doesn't have anything. It's just a number kind of floating in limbo, and then it has to be put into something, right? And then here, leapfrogging. You guys can, in the coding industry, can quote me on this. I call it leapfrogging. I'll do that with my member variables. I'll kind of go from one method, not function, but one method to another by using leapfrogging to, anyways. You'd have to see the code to understand what I'm getting at. I think I don't want to get into it, but new neighbors, and all I could hear in the background, I don't know, maybe you guys can't pick it up, But all I hear is the dog whining. It's like so annoying. I went from quiet, peaceful environment, no distractions, no sounds in my working environment, to having to close doors because of a whiny dog that's left alone. It's distracting. It really truly is. It just throws me off, and it's the last thing that I need going on in my life. It's like, leave the dog some toys, a chewing pig's ear or something. Go to the local dog store and give it something. I don't know. I don't want to go on there, but I don't think the dog should have like a babysitter or something, a dog walker or something. Like leaving your animal at home all day with no companionship. Like, I love animals. I think that's just a little bit, anyways. Of course, they're new neighbors, so, right, I gotta try to be, not use my inside voice, even though I really want to. So, but I don't want to end up being the bad guy, because it's pretty easy for me to do that. Anyways, that's kind of what's going on. I'm sorry, guys. Let's continue. All right, and then here I was showing you the difference between, so here, I kind of changed. So what I'm doing here is I did the calculation here. I stored it in temp, but then I changed the value again, right? So just so you guys understand, right? Code is run line by line. So temp was initially 16 plus 22, which works out to 38, right? And then it actually does print out here. Oh, no. I could actually print it here so you can see, right? You want to see the line by line stuff. So I'm just going to build that so you can understand line by line a little bit. So you can see the value of temp got changed here. Okay, so line by line, right? First it does that calculation of 16 and 22, which is 38. So as we're running code and making the magic happen, guys, like that value that initially was 38 stored in temp, but now it got updated to 5 because I leapfrogged this calculation. Essentially, this belongs together, kind of in the sense. And then I leapfrogged whatever temp was holding and put it into I leapfrogged whatever temp 2 was holding and leapfrogged it into temp 1. Okay, so that's why it's changed here. This is part of the understanding how the code is, what's happening kind of under the hood a little bit. Okay, guys? Right? Values, whatever information is stored in a variable can get updated dynamically, right? During runtime. We're still kind of running. The program's still running here with the console up, right? It's ended. It's kind of waiting for us to just close the console. That's kind of what the all this down here is doing. Otherwise, the console would just open, flash, and close. And our eyes can't even grab the information quickly enough to see what it, right? That's why we do this, so that we could actually just pause and stop everything that's happening so that we could visually read it and see it. Otherwise, it would just flash in our face and be gone. Okay, so showing you guys here local variables and global variables. This is kind of key to understand. You can do this, right? So if you look up here, I have created a variable globally. Okay, so it's outside the main, right? It's above the main. So that means the information could be accessed anywhere through this code. Probably even in a function too, depending on how you do things. Okay, and then I created also a local variable, which is local to the main, right? And you can see, well, obviously, when I ran the program, I'm calling the local variable first. So it will call this here. It's not really calling, but calling is more like calling a function, but essentially I should use the word accessing and not calling. So it's accessing the information from local variable, right, off the memory, and then goes to the next line and basically has to go up here to grab the information here and then outputs it here, right? Following along? Okay. There you go. So I'm just going to clean this stuff up because we are going to get into some new stuff. Again, you can create your own global variables, okay, and still be able to access them in your main because it's global. It can be seen. It could be seen from above. It's just the same as declaring your this is a function right now, right? Because we don't have a class, so it is a function. Here it's called a function prototype, but it's kind of like the heads up information, right? Anyways, global. So you can have global variables or you can have local variables depending on what you want. Okay. You guys keep watching, keep interested, keep learning. I'm gonna try to put it in another gear. I'm really trying. Partly I like to chat with you guys a little bit, keep the the interest level up, right? And it's great to have you here learning. It truly is. But I also want to explain things too, so it may take a little bit longer. I want you guys to kind of get it, you know what I mean? So I'm going to create some more local variables to the main, and we'll initialize them to 0 apparently. We're just going to use some basic ABC variables and X and Y as well. These are kind of common. All right, so we've done is, well, we've done two things. We've declared it. Each one of these is declared as an integer type, data type. These are each the variables, A, B, X, and Y are each variables, and we've initialized them to 0. Now it's up to you. You could go like this for each one. It's your code. If you're practicing and learning and you want to do things a certain way, that's up to you, right? I'm not going to give you a hard time about that. However you want to do it, whatever you like, okay? Whatever you like. Actually, this value is 35. Let me just go like this. Okay? I just wanted you to know that. Right, trying to put in another gear here. All right, so we declared and we've initialized. Declare, initialize. Each one of these are initialized now. They have some sort of value in their container, remember? Right? Just want to bring up my visual for you guys and gals. Okay. Whoops, wrong one. Where are you? Did some organizing here a little bit, right? Each one of these is a container. An integer is 4 containers, right? 4 bytes. Okay? And each container has an address. Each container you can pretend is a house, or library bookshelves. Each one is a library bookshelf, and each bookshelf has a location or an address. And the container is just like a box. You could just, like, for example, I was doing dice rolling. It's like no different than throwing a dice inside. So the value gets thrown inside. Okay? And an integer holds is 4, right? 4, just a standard integer, 4 bytes in memory. Remember, each container is 1 byte. Okay? However it's put in the containers, that's kind of up to the compiler, the processor, and the library itself, right? The library being the RAM or temporary memory, okay? So if you hear me calling it library, that's what I mean. The RAM or the temporary memory. Okay. So, and then at this point now we're just doing basic code, guys. Real easy stuff right now. Kind of keeping it simple. So you must learn how to do expressions and statements, and that's what we're doing here, right? So if I want to return to the console, which is the black thing that pops up when we run it, let's say I want A to be returned to the console. So that's what you have to do. This is called a string literal. Anytime you want to say something in the console, you put it in quotations, okay? Remember, each character is a position. Well, it is a position, but each character is also an ASCII related to the ASCII table, which we'll get into further, right? Even space has a value, okay? That is a space. If you want a space between numbers and characters, you have to put a space, right? Otherwise, if you don't, just don't put a space, right? But the space actually gets printed to the console, okay? That's key, a little bit of a keynote to understand. And it also gives a little bit of organization, a little bit of organizational practicing with your line statements. It doesn't look so cluttered or congested when you print it out, okay? So now I'm telling it, now return the character, okay? And then I can continue. Now I want B, right? So let's print out B with a space, right? And now we got to access. This is the part where the compiler, this character here and this character here, this is what it accesses the information out of the library, and whatever values in that container gets printed to the screen. So what we're doing here is we're kind of calling, it's not really calling, but we're accessing the information that's being held inside the container. And that's what that does. And then I could finish with if you're using a single new line, just use single quotes. But if you want to double enter, use double quotes. Okay? Remember that. So we'll do that for now. Or the other way. Now again, this is up to you guys and gals. You could do this however you want. Or you can finish with a standard end line. Okay? Now when you're just printing to the screen in the main, this is fine using standard end line. Okay? And you could also go more, as a matter of fact. I could do it again. I could go on forever putting standard end lines. As long as you end your statements with a semicolon, right? Okay, now that's up to you. If you want to type all that out, by all means. Again, you practice your style, how you want to write your lines. You practice your style, how you want to write your statements. Okay, so now I'm going to copy this and paste it. Okay, that's just doing the exact same thing again, is what I would be doing. So if I built it and ran it, I'd just be printing it out essentially twice. So let's just see it. Okay, boom. It took a sec. Well, because am I running yeah, I am too. That's why. I gotta close this. That's why it took a sec here. Control Shift B. What did I hit? I used, what's the shortcut? Control F5. No. What's the shortcut for that? I don't know. I thought I hit Control F5. I need a space here, right? You can see there's no space between the value. A and B is 0. A and B is 0, right? Okay, so I don't have that space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a space. And if I want, I could even add a comma. Okay, right here. At this point, right? This is the part where you're printing to the screen, right? Yeah, actually, I don't want a space there. I want the comma to be immediately behind the value. That's exactly what's happening here. This comma is going to be immediately behind the value. Okay. Build run. There you go. So that's cleaner, visually better to read. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go like this because I want it to be a little bit cleaner. So I'm going to go like this. And instead of having, I'm going to have a single enter. There. Nice and clean and simple. You're going to see me use these a lot, and they're important with for loops. And I'll explain. So you're going to have to stay tuned to hear that information, that experience and knowledge. All right, so there you go. So I've added an extra space just for, visual reasons. And as you can see, I printed out the statement twice. Okay, that's not what I want. Silly me. I want to actually print out X and Y. So whenever the point is here, guys, gals, when you are copying and pasting, be very careful. This is kind of critical. It's really easy. We're humans, right? It's really easy to kind of forget and overlook something. It's just, it's human nature, okay? So you kind of have to put a little extra focus into what you're doing. So if you're going to copy something and paste it, make sure you update all your information. That's my little tip for you guys and gals. Okay, tips and tricks over here as well. Make sure you immediately update whatever you're trying to do. Don't get distracted and start typing and doing something else. If you have another extra thought in your head that you want to do, have a pencil and a piece of paper in front of you and just brainstorm your little thoughts, right? And then just go back to it later. Okay, so the point is, make sure you update what you're doing. This time I want Y printed out. All right, that's kind of the idea. There we go. Okay, and that's all we're doing, guys. We've declared, we've initialized, and we're just printing it to the console. Pretty awesome, huh? What do you think? I took advantage of some coffee there. All right, let's keep going. Now, guys, gals, if you kind of already understand this and you've been through this, that's great. It's great to have you. If you feel like you already know what's up, by all means, you can kind of just, that's the great thing about, I think you could do it on Twitch as well. I know YouTube for sure. You could use your arrow keys on your keyboard. I'm not sure if you're watching on a smartphone, which is awesome too. However you do to skip forwards, like by 5 seconds, or right, just keep skipping forward. Some of you guys, if you want to spend the time to timestamp for me, that'd be awesome. I just don't have the time. Otherwise, I would. But yeah, it's great to have you. Skip forward if you want to get on to something new. And I'll see you in the future. In the future. In the future. Okay. But you don't want to miss this part if you don't know what I'm doing next. So check this out. Now I'm typing A again. Oh, what am I doing now? What I'm doing here is actually initializing it to something else. I have already initialized A as 0, but now we actually want it to be a more meaningful value. What we're doing here is kind of, we're going through basic code, guys, okay? So we can all learn and understand together. All right, there we go. So I'm going to do the same thing for B. I've given them both values, and now I'm going to put in a formula. And I'm going to say y equals to x. So this is where I'm leapfrogging. Now I'm leapfrogging. And this is the important part where you're learning what's happening line by line, right, guys? Okay, and now it's going to equal to a plus b. Whoops, I didn't mean to say equals, plus. I've gone over the variables and such, right, with you guys and gals? We've talked about that? Yeah, I have. I'll show it quickly again if I can find it here in my 147,000 character notepad document, which is supposed to eventually turn into a book. I don't know if that's going to happen without, some sort of editor, but I'm slowly building on it too, guys, right? It's kind of like a C++. Whoa, bling bling, notifications. Turn it up. Give me a sec. Somebody just went bling bling. I heard the notification. Let's go. Hold up. Oh my God. I gotta drop this. Let's go. Turn it up. Who's hanging out here? Who's hanging out? Let's go. Slomo Tions. Wow, that's a wild name, bro. Should I call you slow motion? Oh, slow motions. I got it. Wow, that's cool. I love it. Let's go. Slow motions. I'm actually going to change that up now. Wicked stats already there. Hold up. Oh, I'm going to have to actually type this. Check this out. Sorry, Compapas. Actually, I have to do this. Whoops. Mod stuff. I'm my own mod here, guys, so bear with me. And then we're going to continue with the lesson plan here. It's great to have you. Slow motions. That's pretty cool. I love it. Slow motions. I like the way you typed it too. Turn it up. How's your day going, slow motions? It's great to have you. My dude. My guy, my girl. I don't know. I can't see you, so can only assume you're a dude. Slow motions. Turn it up. Check it out. Oh, what did I do? B. Oh, I wasn't finished my line code here. All right, I was doing plus. There we go. I forgot the plus. Okay, cool. Check it out. I didn't mean to run it yet, but here we go. That's fine. Check it out. Hello, Papas. And then welcome to the channel, Twitch. Slow motions. Turn it up. That's fire. I got that right? Yeah, let's go. It's cool of you, man. Cool of you. I just want to update stuff in my documents, but I'll do that later. Hype, let's go vibes. Appreciate you so much. Thank you for the support. All right, let's keep going. So I was working on I was looking in for assignment operators. It's great to have you. Whoever's watching and dropping by and checking it out, I'm slowly going through a course outline. Okay, so basically look at this as like free lectures, free classes. if you're interested in learning C++. That's kind of what's happening here. Okay, I'm kind of explaining things maybe at a slower pace level, but I want people to fully understand and to learn, right? I don't know what everybody's level of learning is at, right? So I could only go as fast as, as possibly can, right? And I will kind of explain things, maybe feels a little bit too much, but I just want to make sure you guys are clear and fully understand. All right, awesome. Great to have you. Appreciate you understanding. You guys are all awesome. Every single one of you beautiful, intelligent people. 120 IQ club. Let's go. All right. Where are my assignment operators? I got it in here. I have it on one of these programs. I could bring it up, but then I'm kind of jumping between both my Visual Studio programs. And so I have everything backed up here on a notepad document. It just takes an extra minute to kind of find what I'm looking for because I'm scrolling through a long document. So appreciate your understanding. Let's see, where are you? Come on. I feel like I went right past it. Okay, that's that. Okay, data types. We'll get into strings in the future. The variable itself holds or stores a number value into memory. Yeah, that's what I've been trying to explain to you guys. I haven't really shared this yet. I should be kind of going through this section by section. But yeah, did you know the variable itself holds or stores a number value into memory? RAM, access memory. I kind of already been over this. All right, so there you go. And then now I'm going to continue looking for, I'll go back and forth between this document, guys. You'll see it. Just a matter of time. How's your day going? Lurkers and twerkers, I hope you're having an awesome day. Appreciate you being here. It says a lot to me about your character. It tells me you are an intelligent, smart individual. Yes, you are. Wow, this is pretty wild. Here we go. Finally. It's like the middle of my document. Okay, arithmetic operators. Okay, I just got to move this without moving everything. Okay, let's just talk about this. We are going to get into it again in the through this course outline, but I just want to show and share this with you ahead of time so that you understand what I'm typing. Everybody in mathematics, you guys all know what an equal sign is, plus sign is, minus sign, right? Those are basic common. And then we have the asterisk, which is being used as a multiplication symbol. And for the /, that's being used as a division symbol, just so you know. Modulo, we'll get into that. You can kind of see here what modulo is about, just based on what I've done here in my calculations. Don't worry about fmod. Fmod is kind of, if I recall, that has to do with moduling decimal values. But we aren't going to get into that yet. Okay, so the plus sign is an arithmetic or binary operator. All right, guys? Just some of the terminology that goes with it. Again, if you're communicating with somebody, if you're working for a company or you're working with another coder, you guys all understand the coding lingo together, right? Okay, so now let's return to the console. Our calculations. Oh, actually, I just need to copy and paste all that. So here's the key thing, guys, gals, right? Going back to this point here. Note that a program is executed line by line in the order it appears in your source code, right? Source code is your .cpp file, okay? I named it main, but most times it's called source. But it doesn't have to be called source. You can name it whatever you want. Okay, just take note. Your source code is your .cpp file. Okay? So in your source code until a function is reached. Okay? Now this is a function right here. That's why I put this note here, calling our function. So what we're doing here in the main is we're calling our function. I don't know if I explained that yet, but it's right here. That's what's happening. In order to be able to call this information, right here it's below our main, right? We have to call it. It won't print it unless we call it. Okay? So this here is calling whatever this function here. Okay? That's what's happening. We call it calling our function, also known as invoking your function. Again, when you're not working with classes, they're called functions. All right? All right, so line by line, right? Even right from the top, this actually gets put into your source code, right? It makes your file bigger, but it needs that information so that we could use a lot of this, right? Because it's a class, right? Created by the awesome devs. We're not going to get into it, but you can actually see the information inside that as well. But we need this include here so that we could actually type certain lines of code. Without it, you really can't do much. Okay? All right. And so line by line, it'll go here and it'll go, oh, here I'm telling the compiler, I'm saying, hey, compiler, there's a method here, or I mean a function. You know about it now. You're gonna have to look for it later or when I call it, right? So at this point, they're called function prototypes. Okay, this is all part of the coding lingo, guys, gals. Okay, now we get into the int main, line by line. Okay, this is all normal stuff. This is a new line. Here we're just declaring variables and values, declaring and initializing. And now we're printing out to the screen here. We're printing out to the console with these lines here. So this is the before any changes, right? So whatever is immediately after, we're going to see all these values, 0, 0, 0, and 35, right? Now we get to these lines here, we're updating the information that's being stored in the variables. Left-hand side equals left-hand side equals right-hand side. Stuff, guys. Oops, I better comment that out. Okay. So whatever's on the right-hand side gets stored into the left-hand side. Okay, basically that's what it means, right? The right-hand side is just a number. It's floating in limbo, but it has to be stored somewhere. So it's stored from the right-hand side into the left-hand side. Okay, that's what's happening. It's the variable itself that is the container with an address holding that value. Okay, that makes sense? I hope so. All right, so now we've updated A and B. We've changed them from 0 and 0 to 9 and 7. Okay, and then here, if I just get rid of this, you can do just this. Okay, so now we're saying X, which is 0 initially, right? Because you will see it when it's printed here off this line. And now we're updating it. We're making it equal to A plus B, which are these values here. Turns out to be 16. So 16 will be here. So 16 becomes like a floating in limbo value and then gets stored into X. Okay? And then when we're printing it out again. So you'll see the values updated again. Right? It's part of testing and stuff too, guys, right? Doing these, duplicating this stuff. Doing this, just copying these return statements, return to the console statements, if you want to call them. You get to see what's happening under the hood, right? You get to see the magic. Now, if you don't want something printed to the console, you just comment it out. That's it. And then you can type more code and just continue on. Okay, let's run this, and then you can see the effort of your work, right? So here we go. So when we first print it out, that's these lines here. 0, 0, right? Because that's what it's holding is 0. And then 0 and 35, right? And then once we get, so now we're updating the values. A and B is now 9 and 7. And we're saying X is equal to A plus B. And then we're printing it out again, essentially. Okay, and there we go. Now A is updated to 9. B is updated to 7. X is equal to A plus B. And Y is still 35. That hasn't changed, right? So let's do the leapfrogging. This is what I call leapfrogging. What they wanted us to do. I'm going to call it leapfrogging. It's kind of like passing the baton, right? Passing the baton or passing a variable. I don't know how you want to call it. It's kind of like that. You're passing information from one variable to another. So we're taking whatever X becomes, right? A plus B gets stored into X, and then X in turn gets stored into Y. Okay? I don't know. You can call it leapfrogging. I like the term. It's kind of a term I invented in my head. Passing the baton. Right? Just a couple of ways of looking at it. Essentially, that's what you're doing. You're passing information from one variable to another. And then here I'm going to update it and run it. So there you go. Now you can see Y is actually 16 now. Remember before it was 35? So that's how it works. The compiler will print out the last known information that's stored in memory, i.e. your RAM or your library. Okay? That's what it does. It's always going to give you 99.9 repeating, probably even 100% of the time, it's going to give you the actual accurate information. Now, if in the console you're looking at the information going, that's wrong, okay? Don't start jumping and blaming the console or the compiler, I mean. Because 99.9 repeating percent of the time, the console is going to be correct. It's a human mistake somewhere, and you just have to look for it, right? Don't give yourself a hard time. Take ownership of it's just probably a silly syntax mistake or something. Or you forgot to update something when you're copying and pasting. Could be anything, right? And that's the great thing about messing up, because it helps you learn and it helps you grow. It makes you a better debugger, and it also makes you a better coder. That's what it does. The more you grind, the more you practice, the better you're going to get. Trust, okay? Copying and pasting code is not helping you learn. Well, copying and pasting your own code, that's fine. But if you're copying and pasting from, I don't know. I don't use ChatGPT, but I do research on the internet if I need some information or learning or knowledge or extra support. For the most part, I'll try it myself first. But I don't normally copy and paste somebody else's code without understanding what it's doing, right? Let's get the basics down and learn, guys, gals, okay? Let's continue. We're going to move forward. Working with operators. An operator is a symbol that causes the compiler to take an action. Okay, right? An operator, I guess, for example, this would be an assignment operator. The equal operator. They're all operators, right? Okay, operators act on operands. Okay, and in C++, any expression can be an operand. In C++, several categories of operators exist. The first two categories of operators that you will learn are, right, here's the first one and the second one. I'm just going to go like this. We're getting into it now. What's up? Whoops. Hang on. Being silly here. Actually, I made that too big now. There we go. I just had the wrong symbol for doing what I needed to do. Assignment, mathematical. These aren't too hard of concepts, guys and gals, right? Assignment operators, mathematical operators. I love math, so don't let it scare you. You saw the assignment operator equals to earlier, right? Okay, assignment operator equals to. That's common math operator. And it's just the same when you're working in, when you're scripting. This operator causes the operand on the left side of the assignment operator to have its value changed to the value of the expression on the right side of right? This is exactly what I was saying. Right? Here we go. I could quote this. Right? There we go. Okay. This is the exactly what I've been doing here this whole time. I just started talking about it ahead of time so that by the time we get to this topic, guys, you understand what's up, right? It just gets easier. Okay, and then so I'm going to paste that here. And I might even put that into my notes eventually. Left hand equals right hand side. So that's what the equal to does, right? Makes sense? This operator causes the operand on the left side, right? The operand being this. We'll just go like this, just to make it clearer, right? They're calling this an operand. On the left side of the assignment operator to have its value changed to the value of the expression on the right side. Okay, that's what's happening under the hood. The right side is just kind of limbo information. It has no memory address. It really doesn't even have a value if you think about it. I don't want to get too deep into it, but really that's all it is. It's a calculation, but that value is kind of in limbo. It needs to be stored and placed somewhere, right? That placement and the storing happens on the left-hand side. That's the left-hand side, right-hand side concept. Okay, guys? All right, let's continue. I'm going to cut this out because I might just stick that into I'll just paste it here. No, I better undo that. I'm going to save that for later and then just clean things up here. Okay, I want to try to keep it as clean and as neat as possible here, guys. All right. X equals A plus B, right? That's exactly what we just did, right? Assigns the value that is the result of adding A plus B to the operand X. L values and R values, okay? And so that's the concept, right? L values and R values. This is kind of part of the coding lingo as well, guys. That's why I show you this. Left hand side equals right hand side, right? Get familiar with it, and then you'll understand, somebody that you're communicating with that's also a fellow coder. You guys will be able to communicate the language, right? Okay, an operand that legally can be on the left side of an assignment operator is called an L value. Okay, we're going to get into the theory of it now. So that which can be on the right side is called, you guessed it, an R value. You should note that all L values are R values. Okay, this is kind of the key point here, right, to understand. Right, this is kind of critical, and I'm going to paste it actually right here because it's kind of a key point. You should note that all L values are R values, but not all R values are L values. Okay, now the master coders have come up with a way to do that, but that's all part of operator overloading, and that's just another level that we're not quite at yet here, guys. We're just doing beginning stuff right now. Okay, we're not going to get into that yet. Hopefully we get there in the future. Stay tuned and watch. You guys keep watching, keep showing up, keep liking, keep subbing. I'm going to keep this going for you guys because I'm enjoying doing this, and I'm doing it for you, and it's great to have you. Okay, so that's the point, right? The point is, right, all L values are R values, but R values can't be L values. That's kind of the point I'm trying to get at, okay? Only the left-hand side can equal the right-hand side. The right-hand side cannot equal the left-hand side. Impossible. Does not compute! Okay. An example of an R value that is not an L value is a literal. Okay? So let me show you what they mean, right? Okay, when we're talking about literals, okay, literal constant. 5 is a literal constant, but you cannot okay. Okay, I'm just gonna let you know right now. Error. Okay, an X can be an L value or an R value. 5 can only be an R value. Okay, that's the key point right there. Okay, if you're just learning this, guys, now, okay, again, this is all kind of part of understanding what's happening under the hood, understanding what's happening line by line. Code can only be written a certain way, right? Once you understand how each line is written, it's consistent, okay? And then you actually, once you get better and you start seeing a lot of code, you can actually, what's up. You go, okay, this is doing that, that's doing this. You understand, right? Because it's consistent. Statements are written in a fashion, right? There's an order of operations, if you will, right? I mean, I guess I could have put this A here first, but the point is if you want to return, if you want to print to the screen A, you got to put that in quotations. That's part of the syntax, the proper syntax to use. Okay, it doesn't matter. I could go like this, and I could print A first. Okay, I could, but as long as you want to print the character A, not whatever's stored. This is printing whatever's stored in memory, and this is just text to a screen. That's all we're doing. It's just character, right? Okay, but there's an order of operations of doing things, in a sense. Okay, be consistent, and once you learn the syntax, then it's going on to semantics. Pretty wild stuff. We'll talk about semantics in the future. Constants are our values because they cannot have their values changed. Ooh, interesting. They are not allowed to be on the left side of the assignment operator, which means they can't be L values. Okay, that's kind of cool to know, right? Constants. Here we go. I'm just going to go like this. Control X. And I'm going to go like this. Create a multi-line. And then I'm going to just clean things up. Make it look nice. Whoops. 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 Okay. And there we go. Okay. Constant section. All right. Constants are our values. And I should kind of put this underneath here. These are notes for you guys and gals. Okay. Just going to get rid of that. Okay. Let's put it there so you can read it. Numeric variables are either integral, blah, blah, blah. Okay. An example of a constant, I'm just going to go, I think it's a double. Yeah, double. Const double, as a matter of fact. You use the short term const. You might as well know about this now when you're typing your code. And then I'm just going to call it mpi. I don't know, maybe go cpi because it's not a macro. Equals 3.1416, something to that effect, right? And I'm just going to copy this and I'll just put it up here with a global variable, and there you go, right? If you want something to remain unchanged, you put const. So the point is here, constants are our values. So something to kind of remember, because they cannot have their values changed, which is true. They are not allowed to be on the left side, right? Not allowed to be on the left side, which means they can't be L values. Little bit deeper, but yeah. Okay, but try to remember this here, okay? Just for the basic stuff. We'll worry about constants later. Right here, okay? This here. Okay, get that straight in your head. Mathematical operators. Second category of operators is the mathematical operators. Okay, I already kind of showed you guys some of them, right? I'm going to clean this up. I think we're done with that for now. Okay. Make sure we have no errors. We're good. Let's go. Okay, and I've already kind of showed you some of them, but I'm going to do this just to save on some typing. There. Whoops. I'm going to do it in a multi-line. That way it doesn't do that. Perfect. 5 mathematical operators are addition plus, subtraction minus, multiplication times, division / and modulus. Okay? Straightforward, right, guys? Mathematics 101 stuff, right? We all know this. So it's great that they okay, get lost number. Never mind. Okay. All right. Addition and subtraction work as you would expect. Two numbers separated by the plus or minus sign. Sorry, guys, for the distraction. Hold up. All right, I'm back. I'm gonna do this. Let's go. Yeah, seems good. Slow motion seems good. Well, I'm trying my best, my guy. What can I put in there into chat? Pew 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 pew. I don't know. Mega charge, sure, why not? There we go. Let's go. Slow motions. Yeah, you know, kind of going over the theory stuff, right? It's all part of it. It's all part of the learning. Okay, good. All right. Continuing on. Multiplication works in the same manner. However, the operator you use to do multiplication is an asterisk, right? This is the coding part of it, guys, right? You got to kind of separate the mathematics stuff you learned in math class with how you type in code, right? The asterisk actually is used in another way or format in code. So it has kind of more than one function or purpose. Just as a heads up. But if I write something like this, like x equals a times b, in this sense, just looking at it, I know that we're doing a multiplication step here, right? Just by the way I'm looking at this statement, okay? Once you understand how code is written in C++, you'll be able to recognize when an asterisk is being used in a different sense, okay? We'll get there. Division is done using a / operator. Okay, I know I haven't initialized any of these, but that's fine. Or declared them, right? That's why they're ghosted, because I haven't declared them, right? Okay, I could have left it in there, right? Int a, comma b, comma x, comma y. Okay, there. Now they're all initialized and declared, right? Declare, initialize, declare, initialize, declare, initialize. The following are examples of expressions using each of these operators. In these cases, the result is assigned. So they created another one called int result. We're just going to use int for now. Good enough. I could get rid of, let's see. There's a few variables here. So, okay, let's do it. How do we do this? So, let's say A is equal to 56 and B is equal to 32. So, and then I'm going to do a plus here. X is going to equal that. And then let's see. I don't really want to do that. I need a couple of new variables is what I need. Int. And I'm going to say, let's just go like this. AB, I'm going to just go C equals 12, comma D equals 10. So the reason I'm doing that is because they have statements like this: result equals 56 plus 32. Okay, so I want to kind of just write code right from the get-go so that you guys are learning how. I hope you've been following and watching, right? And you know what I mean by a symbolic constant. You'll know what I mean by symbolic constant, right? I want to start using symbolic constants so that I'm not writing code like this. Because yes, we could do it this way, but it's kind of poor practice. Okay, and I don't want you guys learning poor practice from the get-go. So let's use our literal constants. I mean, this is a literal constant, this is a symbolic constant. Okay? This is the way code should and must be written. Okay? Not like this. Okay, I'm going to give you guys tips and tricks right now, so that we are doing things the right way. Okay? There you go. I'm going to take this out, cut it, and I'm just going to put it down here. I'll deal with this later. Okay? Not like this. Not too good. Okay? Bad coding practice. So I want to teach you guys good coding practice right from the get-go. Okay? Always do your declaring and initializing at the top, and then use your symbolic constants in your code. Right? So what else do they have? They have so C, they have 12, so let's go like this. I might have to create another result. I'm just going to go result 2, because they got a few more than one. Comma. Always separate by a comma. Right? If I undo what I did there, I had a decimal there, which is kind of technically called a dot separator. I can see my variable is kind of ghosted here, or it's different color. That's telling me, the compiler is telling me ahead of time, hey, you got a problem with your statement. Okay, that's essentially what it is. Always separate with a comma. Always finish with a semicolon. Okay, so I'm declaring another result called result 2, and it's going to equal to C minus D. Okay, and then we could do the same thing with let's see, X. Let's do this. I could use X now. Yeah, X now, Y now, except I'm going to need different variables. That's the problem. I'm just using a bunch of different variables. However, again, you guys and gals are the creator of the variables. If you want to be consistent, I could get rid of X and Y here. And then I could just copy this so that I'm consistent. It just depends on what you're doing. As a matter of fact, this is kind of bad. I'm just going to go like this, comma, and then I'm just going to create another one called 3, and then 4. Okay? Just as an example. Okay? Now I can go result 3 is going to equal to, and we're going to have some new values. No, 12 and 7, yeah. I create some new values called, I don't know, I'm just going to go E and F, just create some new ones, G and H. Okay, and those values are going to be 21, 7, and and have 12, and then I have a 4, so I don't need an H. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, there we go. Okay, so result 3, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to delete that. That's a lot cleaner, and you guys can kind of see the pattern here. Okay. Result 3 is going to equal to E divided by F. Okay. And then result 4 is going to equal to C times G. Okay, there we go. Done. So now we've declared initialized. We have to create some new variables because we essentially have to store our calculations into something. That's what result does. These are our main storing variables, which are on the stack. Okay. And now what we need to do is print to the screen. Again, I'm showing you proper coding practice here, right? By doing it using symbolic constants. Okay, so now let's return to our console, our results. And I could do it, how do I do it? I could do it, let's go like this. Maybe I'll just kind of keep it simple. Here's the syntax part. Always have these are overloaded operators. Have them separating. You need these. This is the pattern, guys. Standard CO, pattern, 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 okay? And then I want to return my variable and then finish it always with a new line. You could do standard end line, or you could do single quotes / new line, or you can go double new line. Okay. So I'll just do it like this, and I'm just showing you the different ways to finish your statements. Okay, and I'm just going to copy this 4 times, but remember, always update, right? Whenever you copy, always update your information. It's easy to overlook, guys. Okay? That's why they don't really recommend you copy, right? They recommend that you actually type it every time. Okay? Because it's easy to have oversights. That's the reasoning behind it. Okay, and you can double check 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 2, 3, 4. You can see the pattern here now, guys, right? We're declaring initializing, we're doing our mathematical steps, and then we're printing it to the console. Let's drop it. There we go. Should we do this? Shall we do this? Why not? Let's go! Are those the right answers? I hope so. 88, 2, 3, and 48. They are. Okay, and that's it. That's all this here did this. And that's all you want. Clean and simple. Okay, right on, guys. So again, we could create 3 separate functions to do these. We could create functions to do all that, and that's kind of the common thing. Instead of doing all this inside here like this, that's the purpose of functions. Okay, guys? Again, you would use an int function and not a void function. But just as a heads up, right? That's the purpose of functions. Functions are fun. Right? Functions are great. Okay. We could have used smaller values or different integer types, guys and gals. Again, you'll see different integer types being used when I'm coding here. Most common, I don't know if it's a lazy thing or, I mean, it is only 4 bytes of memory and your range is pretty good. If you're working with negative numbers, of course, you're just going to want to use int. If you want a massive range, for the most part, if you're only using positive integers, but your values or even your calculations, if they're going to be smaller than 65,000, again, these are commas here, guys. Okay, not, I don't know why it shows it as decimals. Maybe they couldn't afford a comma. Maybe they couldn't buy a vowel. Who knows? They couldn't buy a vowel. Oh, it's doing it again. Sure, why not? Hilarious. I love it. All right, let's continue. Subtraction with unsigned integers can lead to surprising results if the result is a negative number, right? So you got to be aware, guys and gals, right, of your negatives, your signed values, right? Int, you're using int here, you're pretty much safe. That's why you see just people type int, because you're pretty safe, right? It's harder to make mistakes. Like because your calculations could end up being a negative value, right, guys and gals? You know this, mathematics 101 stuff, right? You could be explicit and say signed int. They're exactly the same thing. Or let's say you only wanted positive numbers only. Then you would use unsigned. Just remember, unsigned means no negatives, okay? All right, so I could use unsigned short int. This is where I would kind of be maybe lazy. I don't know if lazy is the right word. I could go like this. I could type. We talked about type defs. Just so that I don't type unsigned short int, just so I don't have to type that all the time. Unsigned short int, I would do that, right? That's what typedef does. And then I could just make these all but the problem is I might end up with a negative, right? So you got to be aware of that, right? Especially if you're using subtraction, because it's obvious that's how you can get negative numbers, right? So you do have to be aware, right, of your output. So let's say you return the console and you got a weird garbage number or something. That could be the reason. It could be the data type you're using, right? Again, I'm being explicit saying I'm using an unsigned short int. So I have to make sure in my code that I'm always getting positive values for a return, and that I have to be less than this maximum number because this is my range. Okay, that's why they teach this stuff, guys, gals. Okay, it's important to know. So, with that said, right? So we should still be good because I know my my return values are all greater than 0. Okay, little tips and tricks. Let's do something else here. Okay. All right, unsigned int. Let me just have a look here. So we're going to use some of them. Unsigned int, all positive values, but you can see our max number is 4 billion, 4.3 billion. Okay, we get lots. Unsigned int, so I could call it a UI. Type def. Unsigned int, I'm going to just copy this. Make sure it doesn't say long, and just call it a UI. Even though really that's kind of the wrong word. UI. When I say UI, I think of user interface. But we'll just use it for now. So I'm going to call it a UI. We're using UIs. Okay, which is an unsigned short int. I'm not going to do this all the time in code, but these are options you have, guys and gals. Okay. Okay. So we're going to call one called difference, and I'm going to initialize it to 0. And then we have another one called big number. We're going to initialize it to 100, even though it's really not that big of a number. And then we're going to have one called small number. I'm using camel case with my variables, which is nice. I like it. There we go. Okay, difference is 0, big number is 100, and small number is 50. Remember, that value is stored in the variable is the container. The variable is an address. The variable is a container. Then the variable has an address. Inside that container is our value 50. Just pretend that value 50 is a dice, and we could shake it and move it around, throw it around, and do whatever we want. Okay, so we've done our declarations. Now let's do some calculations, and it's going to equal to big number minus small number. Okay, we're using our symbolic constants, right? Symbolic constants. Okay. Below, right? Always. All right. All right. And there we go. So we're doing a calculation. Big number is greater than small number. So that's good. Our unsigned int is all positive values only. So let's see what happens. Okay, this is kind of a lesson into understanding what's happening under the hood. Plus, when you get errors in the console, you'll be able to decipher them quicker, guys. And then you'll go, oh my goodness, silly me, right? I don't know, let's call it result. I should have called it result, but whatever. We're gonna return this variable. Okay? And then I'll standard inline that as well. All right. So let's run it. We should know, right? We're going to get a positive value. Good. All right. Big yays. But what happens when we switch that? Okay. So I'm going to copy this. And we're going to show you, right? Remember, our data type is UI. Okay. What do you guys expect to happen? Let's find out. Garbage. So there you go. So in the console, you'll be looking at this and probably pulling your hair and maybe wanting to quit at this point. No, guys. Don't quit. Don't quit. No. It's just a silly mistake. It's just silly. Silliness. It's an oversight, right? Because we know that our variables are 150. How could we possibly be getting this kind of value? Check this out. Look, 429. Let me show you something else too. 429, 4967, 295. 429. What? 429, 496, 7246. 246. That's wild sauce. The negative 50. Is that negative 50? It's pretty close, guys. It actually subtracted that negative 50. This is the wrapping part. Okay? I called it garbage, but it's not. It's actually taking that value, that our max value. Remember, if you're watching, you'll understand the wrapping. If you haven't seen the wrapping video, the clock and data types and how it works, I recommend you go back. I don't know which video that is. I do title them, so hopefully that helps. But yeah, check it out. So it's actually subtracting that 295 from, I think it would be negative 50, right? So, which is pretty close. It is negative 50. There's that sign too that, how come that's not a 6? That's the other question. Maybe because I'm using a 64-bit. It's only really one byte. One value difference. Okay, so there you go. Things to be aware of. So the subtraction operator is invoked for the first time, which is our above here, right? Our first set. And the result is printed, right? This is printing our result. And we get the value 15, right? The subtraction operator is called again on this line here. Okay, but this time a large unsigned number is subtracted from a small unsigned number, right? Remember, they're both unsigned ints, right? Okay, the result would be negative, but because it is evaluated and printed as an unsigned number, the result is an overflow. There's your keyword for the day. There's your keyword right there. Overflow. There's your word of the day. Your coding lingo word of the day. I just want to put it a little further so you can see it. There we go. Okay. Actually, it was good there. Okay. Overflow. And then this topic we'll review in the area called operator precedence. We'll talk about overflow. You're going to have to stay tuned for that, guys and gals. We are at the end of our stream today. Next class, again, guys and gals, when you show up, first off, man, you're awesome.